We're going to be taking a look at Bitcoin's price. So, where do we start? We recently touched down into the $8,000 mark, and a lot of the private Bear Den members asked me if I would update them with my thoughts on a live video. And because the Bear Den members get all of my love, so do the rest of the community. The reason we started this was just to communicate as much value as possible, but I did learn very quickly that people that action things are generally those that like to pay for those things too, so there's a nice mixed way. So you can follow our private newsletter by going to arcanebear.com, signing up for the private newsletter. Neither here nor there, as you will. But what I would like to do is share this in a video and a vocal sentiment for all of you that had been asking instead of my typing, because the next newsletter doesn't come out until the beginning of the month, and it's only the 20th, so it gives an extra 10 days. I had been talking about what I believe to be this bull flag that we are currently in, and I speculated that around the mid of November we would see the next step upwards. Now, the interesting part here is that we still have a high or low coming in. Now, as long as this stays above, let's say, between 77 and 80, well, and at the bare minimum, 7,400, we're actually still in the range of this bull flag taking place and bringing us up to around $20,000 on its next leg, and probably quite quickly. That is still the assertion I stand beside, but just for good measure, let's take some time. Let's roll out and look at what I think the other two possible downsides are, as they have not changed. There is only three in my mind that I think are of anything to, that are noteworthy to begin with. So we'll remove these beautiful hearts, although I know we all love, right? That's a great thing. There is a lot of support here on the bear claw down around 7,200. So it is possible that we touch that again one more time. Again, that would, in a lot of ways, not, well, first off, it wouldn't break the bull flag indicator. Again, a retracement of 50% and outside of that breaks the bull flag, but currently we've only retraced 40%, 48%, so it's very close. We are still bearish, at least on our daily indicators here. We have not seen it turn up yet, and this has been that way since the mid of October, when we had that first bounce around the $7,200 to $10,000 area. Very, very quick and sharp. Now, the downside areas, and there are two of them, is actually around 4,900, much lower than any of us would like it to go. I believe if it breaks 7,200 and this bull flag does not continue, we could go much lower, around 4,900, and there's actually evidence for us to go potentially even lower. Now, the evidence here is mounting, although I'm not going to put a bet on it at this particular point. On the monthly chart, we could drop down, again, the $4,200 area is quite important to keep an eye on, and it actually becomes a little bit more apparent if we open it here on the log chart, so I'll make sure I slide this down here. Boom. Yeah, so that would bring us down to around 4,200 to 4,300 potentially, especially if we break the 21 moving average on the monthly, again, which is around 6,950. So there's a fair amount of support here at 6,950, but if we do come down, there's not a whole lot holding us up. And even though we could come down as low as 4,900, I still speculate that we could come down lower. Now, the reason I speculate that is if we, again, take it off log chart, and I've written this in all of our private newsletters so far as well, just letting everyone know that I do still believe a potential of around $1,500 and lower is possible, is actually the Elliott correction wave. So we could see that this might have been an A, and this could have been a B, and I've said this many times, and we could see a C come quite lower, around 1,500. Now, that's not actually a case that I'm leaning too heavily in. I maybe give it about a 30% chance of happening, well, 30% given to the 4,900. If we touch that, it's no man's land, and I won't actually be in a position at that point, as I'm going to wait out the storm. I do a little bit of swing trading with these when it happens. Again, usually just a stop loss, and then I rebuy back in once we find support. So again, back here to the daily, what I want to highlight is that we have not broken out of this trend, and more importantly, we're actually coming up to the daily 314 simple moving average, right here, this blue line down here, and we almost touched it, at least with the candle wick before. I likely suspect we'll touch it around 7,400 again, and then that will be the continuation and the breakout afterwards. Nothing has changed in my sentiments. I do like to hold these long-term sentiments, just like back in July when I figured we're going down to around 7,700. I stuck by that. I know it's not entirely that entertaining for me. Like, oh, it's bear, it's bull, it's going up, we're going down. I know it's not as exciting or dramatic as some of the other YouTube channels, but I do stand by my sentiments on the long term. I do hope that this level-headed approach provides everyone with a more concrete thesis on the reason why I like to do this type of charting, this type of analysis. Long-term fundamentals and technicals do generally play out a lot better. I'm not a day-to-day trader, although if I do see something shoot up in the mix, I do try to take advantage of it, but it really depends on what it is. And for instance, we can look at Matic. Matic was another great example of one of these on the day-to-day type basis. We had been watching the triangle back here in the mid of September. As soon as that triangle broke, we saw a nice 50% gain. Although I was not in a trade here for this one, we did show the bear members, the private bear family members in our newsletter, this particular area that we were watching. And now again here that we've actually, it's actually more noticeable on the 4-hour with the bear claw here. Yes, so here on the 314, we bounced right around the bottom here on the 4-hour, and then we've started to incline since then. Now we're actually at a very important part here at around 26% gain from that entry point. Again, looking at the most of the support coming up here at around $1.87 or 187 satoshis. We need to break out of that. I still think we will. With how much pressure, it's really dependent on Bitcoin. Again, one of the things we try to do is always trade against Bitcoin's price so that we can be ahead of the curve. Trading against dollars is counterintuitive to me, mostly because I'm looking for more Bitcoin, not more dollars. Anyways, that's my general sentiments there. Taking a quick look at Raven as well, just to mellow out the sentiments and send you guys off for the rest of the evening. Is I guess my internet is actually disconnected. I'm gonna have to quickly reconnect it there, and Raven's gonna reload from there. Okay, great. It's a good thing these are not live streams. It would make it a lot more difficult if I just completely fallen off the internet. But nonetheless, I'm not going to even edit these videos either, so you guys are just going to have to bear with me while I talk my way through the waiting. Okay, back to Raven here. Currently sitting around 305 satoshis. We've been following Raven for quite some time. It is a sleeper, in my opinion, right alongside Flow as well. Looking at Flow, actually currently up 12%. Now, Raven has actually been on it. Broke out of this nice descending wedge that we had seen. I thought we were going to see a bit more momentum coming out of that wedge. For those of you that are in the private Bear Den members, you remembered I thought we'd see a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, and a 5 to around 700 to 800 satoshis. That still is in play, although I have not entered a position here yet. Mostly, well, I've been busy. I've been going to Singapore for the blockchain week, etc. But I also like to wait until we see some accumulation, especially in the wave 2 area. That sometimes they're quite fast, but we were watching I guess what we could consider like a bigger wave count. We saw the 135 all the way up to around 460 already. We've been following the smaller 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave count previously. That was around a 50% gain for anyone who happened to be in that trade. I think I did around 30% on that one myself. So now that we are at the bottom of the larger wave 2, they don't usually happen as fast as there is more time in between each of the wave counts. So I am still looking for a breakout here. Anything above 340 and then more specifically around 360 is going to signal a much larger move for me. I do want to see a breakout above 360, 365, which is the original wave 1 way back here. Anyways, I'm going to leave it off at that. Thank you guys all for joining us this evening, morning, wherever you happen to be in the world. Steer with the Arcane Bear, remembering you and remembering you and reminding myself and all of you to be grateful for your problems, because one day you won't have them. I had an amazing day today. It was filled with love and adventure, and I'm very grateful for those moments, because some days are just so hard and difficult, but today was not one of those days. So thank you all. I hope you have a fantastic time, and if you did not have a good day, know that good days are usually right around the corner. Steer with the Arcane Bear. I'm signing off for the rest of the day, and we will see you guys on the other side. Yes, we will see you guys on the other